Every dollar I have ever made from my business started the exact same way. Not with an ad, not with a funnel, but it started with one thing only. Someone replied to my email. This invoice, it started with a reply. This one, another reply. This 2,500 payment, another reply on a random Tuesday. But here's what most people don't realize. Replies have a shelf life. The longer you wait, the less likely you are to close the deal. If memory serves me right, there's even a famous sales study that shows that the chances of connecting with a lead drops off dramatically after a few minutes, not hours, minutes. So if someone replies at 9 a.m. and you don't get back to them until 2 p.m., you have probably already lost momentum because you were not the only person they emailed that morning. So to solve this problem, I built a system that makes me almost impossible to beat on speed. The second a reply hits my inbox, it gets to work. It figures out who the person is, what company they run, what I originally pitched them, and then also what their reply actually means. Then it writes a response the exact same way I would, which is researched, specific, and human. Not thanks for your email, someone will get back to you. But an actual reply, it does it in minutes. At 3 a.m. while I'm busy or even while I'm sleeping. And today I'm building the whole thing in front of you from scratch. By the end of this video, you have your own session watching your inbox. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. To give you more context on what's actually happening here, I'm using Instantly AI to automate my outreach. And so when I get a positive reply, I want to make sure that I send a reply as soon as possible so that I can close the lead while they are still warm. The workflow starts with a simple trigger, and this trigger gets triggered as soon as we receive the reply from Instantly. Right after that, I'm choosing between the workspaces and then checking if the reply is already in a sheet that I logged it. If not, if the email is not in the sheet, then it will go ahead and scrape the company just to get more context. Then it will write the reply and then to send the request back to Instantly and then save the final message that we send to the person. Starting here in a brand new workflow, so we are going to go ahead and add the webhook here. So I'll just search webhook and then come here and choose production URL and copy this get request here. After that, go to your Instantly settings, come here down to integrations, come to webhooks and add the webhook here. So I'm doing this with Instantly, but you can do with any other platforms. And if you need any help, just let me know down in the comments and I'll be more than happy to help you. So back to it, I'll just name this webhook. Let's just put N8N and come here and paste the webhook. So event, I'll go ahead and choose lead is marked as interested. This way the webhook will only trigger as soon as we get a positive reply, which is what we want. So after that, I'll just go ahead and select the campaigns and put all campaigns. Doesn't really matter that much. And then come here and add webhook. So after setting the webhook, you would actually need to wait for an actual email to get in your inbox before you try to manage that information. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to pin a data that I already have in my workflow and take it from there. So I just send the request to the webhook. So if I open it up, we have the payload of the reply that we got. So if I just come here to body, you can see reply received. You can see the email account associated, the email of the person, and the email that the person actually sent us, which is here, the reply text, right? Why would I want an intro? That's what they replied. And you can see like it has all the information, like the signature, it has some images on it, and we are going to filter all that. So like I showed in the demo, I have multiple workspaces in my Instantly campaign, but here no need, since you are only doing this for a demo, I don't need to actually have multiple workspaces to choose from. So just go ahead and search the Google Sheet node to get rows in a sheet. For the sheet, I'm going to use the sheet that I already have here. So you can see we have to reply to, which is the person that we are replying to. We have the content, we have the status, and we have some other columns that are also important, right? So I'm just going to reuse this. And of course, I'll share all these resources with you guys. So I just go ahead and copy the URL of the Google Sheet, go back to N8N and paste it here. So let me just put URL and then also here URL and then come and paste it in here and then run this. So you can see we got all the items in the sheet. Now we want to add a filter here and we're going to filter by reply to, which is the email of the person. So just come here to my webhook and look for the person's email, which is here. As you can see, lead email, and I'll just put it in here. So I'll go ahead and run this again. As you can see here, no output returned, meaning this lead is not in the Google Sheet. And add a filter here. So I'll just search filter. So in this filter here, we want to make sure that this lead is not in the sheet. So I'll just go ahead and type a quick code here. So I'll put $JSON dot reply and come here and hit expression. In simple words, this is going to look for the column called supply to in the sheet. So of course, if this doesn't exist, it means that the lead is not in the sheet. So I'll simply go ahead and put here does not exist. And to make sure, we are going to copy this and add one more parameter here just to make sure. So we are going to put row underscore number, and then also does not exist. As you can see, it was executed successfully, and now we have no items because these two variables did not exist. So since this workflow is kind of fast, and let's say a person replies to us at 9 a.m., it will send a reply, let's say at 9 a.m. also. So here we are just going to add a small wait node just to kind of make it more human-like. So here we are just going to put 3 minutes, which is realistic because someone can actually reply to you within the first 3 minutes that you send the email. So for demonstration purposes, again, I'm going to disable this. Now we simply need to scrape the domain of this company. So I just come here and add an HTTP request and then go ahead and send some headers. So I'll start with authorization, then send body, and then put using JSON. Then go ahead and type a quick JSON here, URL. Here we'll have the URL, and that's it. So for the URL, I'll simply come here to the webhook node, get the email, because in the email we have the domain, right? So lead email, I'll drag it in here. So let me just open this so you can see clearly. We have the email here, email, and then right at the end of this variable here, we're going to add another variable called extract domain. As you can see here, it already appears. And as you can see also here in the preview, we have the domain instead of the email. So this function allows us to extract the domain from the email. To scrape the domain, we're actually going to use Firecrawl. So simply just go to Firecrawl and then come to this page called docs.firecrawl.dev, which is where we have the API reference we should use in Firecrawl. So here I'll just go back to the workflow and paste my API key in there. And here, back to the page, you can see here we have to use authorization. We already have authorization. So if I just come here to confirm authorization, and then in the header, we have to send it this way. So I have to send the word barrier and then the token. So I already have my token in there. So just go ahead and add this barrier, and that's literally it. And for the URL, I simply have to come back here to the top page. It's a post request, and we simply need to copy this and go back to the workflow, paste it here, and put a post request. So I'm just going to run this. As you can see here, as a result, we get the whole information in the website in a markdown format. As you can see here, we even have a small description of the website. So back to the workflow. So let me simply go ahead and name these nodes properly. So the first one is positive reply received, then question mark. And this is scrape company info. So right after that, we are going to use OpenAI to now write the emails. So I'm just going to search OpenAI, message a model, and choose ChatGPT 5.6 Tera, and then set a system prompt. So I'll simply go ahead and paste this in here, and go ahead and add the message and choose the user message and just paste this in here. So don't worry about all this prompt. I'm going to share these resources with you. So right now, just go ahead and name this to write email. So write email and hit run. The intro may be relevant for the company name, of course, but please book a call to see if there is actually alignment. And then as you can see here, it shares my calendar link, and then it says cheers Pascual. As you can see, this is like pretty simple, concise, and no one would actually think this is coming from AI. So after writing the email, we are ready to send it, and I'm just going to put it here so it goes ahead to instantly. At the end, we have this log auto reply just to make sure that in case the leads reply again, we do not run this workflow again, right? Which is something, of course, is just like a good practice to have. And that was it, a simple but very powerful workflow. So that's the system. A reply comes in, it researches the person, remembers what I originally pitched them, and then writes the response the way I would. All in a few minutes, 24 hours a day. The leads that used to go cold while I was busy now gets a real reply before they even notice their next coffee. To be honest, I can't tell you which leads I would have lost if I'd answered too slow. Nobody can, but I can tell you this, I'm never going to find out. If you want to build this yourself, I have put the workflow, the prompts, and the entire guide inside my free community. The link is at the top of the description. Just simply import it, connect to your inbox, and your next reply can answer itself. And if you'd rather have a system like this built specifically for your business, that's exactly what we do at Systechly. Always remember this. Right now, somewhere, someone's about to reply to one of your emails. The only question is, do they hear back from you in 3 minutes or 6 hours? Now you get to choose. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.